flooring, sculpturing, decorating, arts and crafts, textile and felt processing, hunting, falconry, smithworks and jewelry. We showcase our national identity in the KazArt program.
As you notice, this is a sketch of my future work composition. It consists of 3 parts as middle, right, and left. The theme of the work is entitled Eternal Kazakhstan, Mangilik El, and it is a substantial option to the development of cultural contribution to the development of cultural public policy through art. In the center is depicted a portrait of the leader of the nation who goes to the future with confidence. The monuments and historical monuments were created during these 25 years in the territory of Kazakhstan, exhibited in both sides of the gallery. Nowadays, the majority of modern Kazakh artists depict in their compositions Kazakh traditions and focus on ancient history and culture of the nations. The palette on their painting compositions gave a new rhythm to the art of our days. One of those artists is Aset Jakibek. He tried to depict in his works the history of ancient centuries, cultures, traditions, and customs. Through the painting, he showed the significance of his works. Due to his compositions, the artist is willing to find the way to the heart of his art lovers.
Aset Jakubekov деген жас суретші дейміз, енді ол жас дегенде де біразға орта буынға келіп қалды оларда.
Aset Jakibekov is a young artist, but we can add him to the list of the middle generation artists. I taught him to the art. I was his teacher. When I worked as a teacher of art in 1987, Aset came to study art. Each group has their own individuality. His group consisted of leaders. I think it was a tendency. I do not know it was a genetic tendency or something else. There are some groups which did not show their diligence. The students of the group where Aset studied was very talented, and real leaders were Aset's group mates. Currently, each of them became talented artists of our country, and we are proud of them.
Қазір осы беткұстар суретшілер нақ осы Әсеттің группасынан шықты.
Мектеп қабырғасында жүрген кезде, кішкентай кезімнен осы суретпен өте қызықтым. Ауылдағы
I was close to the art since my childhood at school. I've heard from my village residents about the art school and art academy, and interest in the art increased in that time. There was a lack of paper in those times. When we found a piece of empty space on a book, we drew something on it.
Ол кезде қағаз деген тапшы, айту кітаптың жаңа ағарған жер болсын, кішкене беттер болсын, бәріне сурет салып жарысып, сөйтіп өстік.
The compositions that I draw nowadays are historical stories and compositions. I saw my works in this direction since those times. The history and fairy tales world were very interesting for me. During the school years, I depicted Russian fairy tale episodes on the white paper. We created a school wallpaper for every holiday as New Year, and to draw Santa Claus was my work.
Негізгі мектептегі айзаттар салу нагрузкасы, газеттер шығару нагрузкасы, бәрі менің мойнымда болатын.
Aset's homeland greatly influenced his art creation. Zhytomyr is a place with beautiful scenery and rich Kazakh national art. Aset was born in Zhytomyr, and this place is adorned with 7 rivers, and is a center of Kazakh national art, which is very rich with customs and traditions. Probably, therefore, the artist's creativity works included historical paintings. He depicted in his works the life of the past and present. New and ancient compositions attracted the views of the art lovers to another world.
8-ші класты бітіргеннен кейін осы Алматыға келдім.
I completed 8th grade at school, then I arrived in Almaty. The purpose was to apply to the art specialized school, but I came late and was not able to apply my documents. One year I had a training course. Owing to this course, I understood a lot of things. The work of artists still starts from the still life genre. I had the opportunity to understand what is still life genre of art, understood all watercolor and paints and oil paints during the year.
Красканың не екенін, акварельдің красканың не екенін, майлы бояудың не екенін, соған толық бір жылдық мүмкіндік болды.
Әсет Жақыпбек енді қазақ көркемөнеріндегі өзінің мінезді, рухты суретші.
Aset Jakibek is one of the talented artists of Kazakhstan who depicts different themes of Kazakh art with great responsibility on his work. We can notice his talent and drawing style through his works as he is a romantic artist. His paintings have their own energy, power, and spirit. The artist's favorite theme in drawing is history. He is one of the artists who has enough knowledge to express his opinions, the theme in the drawing, and show his love, yearning, and spirit through the paintings. There were a lot of contests. Aset received prizes from all of them. Here we can see Aset's art viewers have their own attitude to his creative art.
Әрқайсынан жүлде алып келе жатыр. Оның өзі мына көрерменнің, Әсеттің шығармашылығына деген көрерменнің бір қалыптасқанын көруге болады.
He was enrolled in the Almaty Art Specialized School in 1982 and majored in the Design and Art Department. He received knowledge from the experienced teacher as Kinzubay Dusinbayev. A young student who was successfully completing the art school decided to continue his education in art and entered the Art Academy. At the academy, he was taught by well-known artists as Zhumakin Kairambayev, Gennady Zavizieny, and Alibay Bapanov, the monumental pictorial art.
Монументалдық кескіндеме кафедрасында біз енді мамандықтың қыр-сырын оқи бастадық қой. Бұл әрине.
When I studied at the Art Academy of Monumental Painting Art, we studied our subjects very extensively. Certainly the technique of monumental painting is different. We have to mention among them mosaics, colorful reliefs, and murals, compositions with different techniques.
Бояулармен боялатын және рельефтік нелер, жаңағы композицияларды орындау, жаңа тағы сол сияқты техникаларды игеру. Әрине жаңадан келіп жатқан материалдар көп болды. Соларды да игеру керек болды. Осы техникаларды үйренгеннен кейін
Of course, we have to master new techniques. Our interests are increased when we master these techniques. We have the opportunity to work with large monumental canvases. As I was interested in historical themes, I dedicated my works to historical compositions.
Жаңағы қызықтар қасында негізгі менің тақырыптарым осы тарихи тақырыптарға арналатын.
Бұлар 92-ші жылы бітірді. Сол бір кездері 92-ші жылы өздеріңіз білесіздер.
They graduated the Academy of Art in 1992. If you know, it was a difficult time for the community of artists, and the exhibition was not exhibited in those years. It was a hard time also for artists. I thought about their careers a lot. There was a time when the community of artists depended on the USSR Art Fund, and we also had our own Art Fund Center. Every time we were under the control of Moscow artist community, and we often received an order. The order of different stuff for large buildings in Almaty or the whole of Kazakhstan were discussed in Almaty.
Содан ол Москваға бағынады, жаңағы заказсыз қалмайтын жұрт. Осы Алматыдағы болсын, Қазақстанның түкпір-түкпірінде болсын.
The Art Fund Center was closed when they completed the Art Academy. I worked in those years at the Community of Artists head office. One day I came to our director and told him, how about to create a community for young artists? They gathered together Aset's group as after the graduation of Art Academy, they went to different directions, but all of them were in Almaty.
Бұлар уже сабақ институтты бітірген кезде әркім әр жерде еді, бірақ бастары қосылып осы Алматыда шоғырланды.
Subsequently, it did not take a lot of time till the Kazakhstan Community of Artists was organized as a young artist community and started their work. Mirza Akhmetov's students were able to manage with the community. Since that moment, they were organizing exhibitions with different themes and some events as well.
Ол үлкен қоғами үрдіс болды жаңағы суретшілер одағының.
The youth organization was one of the big events in that society. We exhibited a large international exhibition in March 1986. There were participating artists from Mongolia, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, and a lot of artists from our country as well. Aset exhibited his great Anda composition at the exhibition. He depicted on his work the ceremony of swearing allegiance of friendship, two warriors who were holding bowl in their hands. From that moment, Aset was noticed by the art viewers.
Ал енді сол кезде әсет уже көзге түсті.
As we know, in recent years, the Kasteyev Museum is run by Doctor of Philosophy, PhD Gulmira Shalabayeva. Owing to her different contests are organized every year. Aset always received and awarded medals from every competition where he participated. Once he was awarded first place, and the next time he was awarded third place from these contests and was noticed with his talent. There was a big contest as Epic, where both of us owned prizes. Constantly, Abilkhan Kasteyev Art Museum organized various Republican competitions in historical genre. For example, in 2012, they were provided a Republican contest of the theme Epic Poems of the Kazakh People, History and Tradition. And last year, the big idea came with the independence of our country. It was a Republican exhibition contest, Independence Bequeathed by Ancestors. It is also a substantial contribution to the development of cultural public policy through art. The project also aims to show the unknown pages in the history of Kazakh people and portray historical figures preserved in people's memory.
Мы очень рады, что третье место в этом конкурсе было отдано.
We're very happy as the third place was given to Aset Jakibek on this contest, which was called the Golden Horde. It should be noted that his work differs from other works which were presented at the composition. As his composition, the grisaille technique was depicted. The artist used gradations of numerous shades of gray that is a completely unique technique. The composition was done in a very high artistic level where artists depicted Genghis Khan as his son, Juchi, and also his grandson, Batu. The artist also depicted in his composition a moment when Genghis Khan arrived at the Ulatau place.
Прибывает в Улус-Джучи, который он выделил своему сыну, в частности, именно в районе Улутау.
Тематика жағынан
Aset's compositions included the historical ethnographic theme. It is one of the favorite themes of Kazakh artists. Each artist has their own reason to depict the history of the nation. All of us know during the Soviet times it was impossible to open this historical ethnographic theme. For example, some people recently were informed as Rahimjan Khoshkarbayev was one of the first combatants who raised the flag of victory over the building of the Reichstag. And I also found out recently Ahmed Baitursinov lived in my village. In keeping with its status as one of the leading visual arts, painting is heavily dependent upon the use of color for its impact, mood, and depth. The impact of color on the visual senses of the viewer is extremely potent, and even one tiny dab of brightly colored pigment in an otherwise monochromatic picture can transform the work. The colors have taken a particular role in Aset's compositions.
тарихи мәселелерге, тарихи тақырыптарға, оның ішінде тарихи тұлғаларға көбірек.
The artist strives to comprehend the country's history afresh. Penetrating deep into the centuries, with careful attention and understanding, they depict all the peripetia of the life of the people on their historical path in Hun's, era of the Turkic Khanate, time of Golden Horde, hardships and heroic battles, the bravery of Bratirs, and their selfless love of the motherland. In fact, these artworks convey the national identity of the people. He is an artist who depicted the historical people during the Kazakh Khanate. From the chronological point of view, an artist drew ancient eras as well. However, an artist should be a historian and ethnographer to draw historical figures of that era. There are big differences between people who lived in different eras in the Kazakh history. For example, in the Turkic era and Kazakh Khanate, people had different clothes, their haircuts and their beards The color of their skin were different from each other. It requires a lot of works to depict them on the composition, to measure every line, and artists should make research works.
Барлығы ұқсамайды. Ол үшін оларды өз деңгейінде сызу үшін, бейнелеп көрсету үшін көп дүниелерді қарау керек, іздеу керек.
Қазақстан тәуелсіздік алған жылдары бізге тарихи тақырыптар тың болды, өте қызықтырды.
When our country received independence, the historical theme was a new stage and very interesting for all of us. As we started to recognize our heroes and Hans, it was a great impression, and I was captivated by the world of history. Since that time, I read and researched a lot of historical books, and I was acquainted with the authors of those books and started our work on the compositions.
Авторлармен де жолықтым, кейбір достастықта ондай тарихшылармен.
Janim Khan Oshan is a researcher, artist, and historian who contributed to the development of Kazakh pictorial art, including the historical genre. Owing to the joint creative work, a lot of compositions about Kazakh historical figures of the 18th century depicted by the artist. Among them, we should mention the portrait of Yer Janibek warrior.
Көне дәуірден қалған сызба суреттер енді жоқтың қасы деуге де болады, десе де бар. Мысалы, Қытай жерінде Қытай авторларының сызған дүниесі.
It is impossible to see drawings arts of the ancient times. Currently, they are relics. For example, we can see Chinese drawings in China. There are compositions where they depicted the images of Middle Asia and historical people of Kazakhstan and the Muslim world by Arab artists of ancient times. But the method of drawing of each country had their own style and they were different from each other. For example, Arabs and Persian styles of paintings were different, and our historical people depicted by them in a singular way. While China has also their drawings art and pictorial art, those compositions were depicted by them as they've seen them with their own eyes. Therefore, it is not easy to recognize the image of real Kazakhs now.
Содан тура қазақтың өзінің нақ болмысын тану деген өте қиын.
Пластикалық есінде әрбір шығармашылығы бір мазоктармен үлкен екпін беріп жасайды.
If we talk about plastic of artist's works, he used in every compositions the mosaics with great significance. When he started the work, he finished it, as his work is going to be exhibited in the contest. From here we can see his singularity. There are some artists who usually do not finish their works. Asset works very hard during his creative composition. His art viewers appreciate his talent and art historians as well. There is a high demand to his creativity. Asset's main specialty is monumentalist artist. He has enough creative works as a monumentalist. But I can say he works in pictorial art. As a monumentalist, he created the majority of state orders. An artist is able to draw in pictorial art his thoughts, mood, and consequently, he is an artist who depicts his thoughts through the drawings.
Айтар ойын бәрін осы жеке кескіндемеде толық көрсетіп беретін суретші ғой.
The original pictorial chronicle of the life of the nation and its spiritual culture created by the artist will be of interest to the wide audience due to the comprehensive artistic embodiment in which reality is organically combined with imagination. There is hope that this initiative exhibition will contribute to the further development of Kazakh national art. Nowadays, an artist's purpose is to show their own view to the world and art viewers.
Талай шәкірттерім бар.
I taught a lot of students. Sometimes I meet with them. In particular, a teacher thinks of some of his students. Sometimes he would like to see them, and one of them is Asset. He is a good and open-minded person. I think he is also happy to meet with me, as I am to meet with him with great pleasure. Asset is a person who can warmly tell me about my teacher to other people. We are able to see Asset's monumental compositions in every part of our country. He is an artist who was awarded a laureate to the Presidential Scholarship, and author of various cultural projects. His compositions are saved in the Republican and private collections.